right, you guys, I've got to testify for a minute here. I'm speaking to those who has untapped potential on the inside of you. I'm talking about gifts and callings, assignment that has been on your life since before you took your first breath when you were in your mother's womb. God had a plan for your life, but you see people around you arising, writing that book. God is elevating people around you, birthing businesses and movements, and you're like, well, why God? I don't see my life going anywhere. I want to speak to you. I'm telling you right now, God has something specifically for you to birth, specifically that you were called to connect to, an assignment on your life that is within you. I'm telling you right now, I remember when I was the girl 11 years ago, coming to the doors of Louisiana Teen Challenge, thinking that God can never use a drug addict, a prostitute, someone who had been here, there, and everywhere, literally in the dirt of the world. Never thought that God could use someone like me, thinking that how could I be used to glorify the name of the Lord? And I remember God began to connect me with people who would come alongside me to help me grow. And I want to say this, if God is connecting you with people to come alongside you to help you grow, so that you can walk out your God-given destiny, so that you can get healing and deliverance. I'm telling you this right now, connect with them. Don't isolate yourself. But I remember this moment thinking God could never use anybody like me. And then God began to bring prophets, begin to bring women and men of God that would speak the word of the Lord in my life, that would prophesy things about me and what I would do. And I would be wondering why, how, I don't understand this. You're saying, God, that I'm going to write curriculum, that you're saying, God, that you're going to bring me from nation to nation. I was going to speak and preach the word of the Lord. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, right. I don't know who that girl is. I don't know who you're talking about. I remember a man of God told me, Krista, begin to journal, because as you begin to journal, you're going to be able to speak what you have been through, the process of life, the process of healing and deliverance. One day you're going to be able to share this with the world. I had no idea what God was going to do in my life, but guess what? I was obedient. So I'm going to tell you right now, you might look around and say everyone's doing all this. They've gone through the process. They've been obedient in the process. God is telling you to do something right now. What he's telling you to do right now will be connected to what you will birth. If you're not obedient in what he's saying to do right now, you can never birth the thing that God has for you to birth in this earth, so that others can see and know who he is. So in that, I begin to become obedient. I've been walking with the Lord for 11 years, 11 journals later. Now the Lord began to tell me last year, Krista, begin to write about my presence, begin to journal and about my presence and how I established you. And let me tell you, I didn't know that in 2023, August 2023, I would literally be launching a curriculum, a 15 lecture curriculum about being healed and delivered in the presence of God. And now next week, women from across the United States are going to fly in and literally receive healing and deliverance. Not only that, but they are going to be marked by the presence of the living God. They are going to be established in the presence of God. Not only that, they are going to find who they are, and they're going to step into their God-given destiny. I had no idea 11 years ago when the man of God said, Krista, write. Krista, write. I didn't know I was called to be a writer. I didn't know the girl that came up from the ashes of the world was going to literally help others step out of addiction, step out of pain of the past, step out of what I've been through. And I'm telling you right now, you are called to a certain people group, to a certain region. God has called you to declare the word of the Lord, and what you've been through, God is wanting to use you. You will birth the thing he put in you, but you gotta be obedient in the small things. I had no idea that I was going to write a 15 lecture curriculum. I was never the writer. I was never the one that they would call to give a testimony on a mic. I was never that girl that was gonna preach. I was the girl that nobody wanted to talk to, that was negative, that was the reserved one. I was not who I am today, but God began to bring me through a process, and God wants to bring you through the process so that he can show the world what he can do. God is going to use you to set the world on fire, but you've got to be diligent in what he's calling you to do now. Stop looking at those in your realm of influence saying, wow, look at them. Don't let jealousy come in. Don't let envy come in. Don't let the things come in saying, well, I'm just going to stay stuck in what I'm in. I can't get out of it. No, God has a plan for your life. Begin to seek the Lord. Begin to ask him, God, what did you call me to do? How do you want to use me in your kingdom? I want to be obedient, and watch and see. Begin to do the very thing he did in my life. Stay encouraged today. Seek the face of God and allow him access to you. Allow him to use you to write the book. Allow him to use you to start the business. Or allow him to use you to change the world. I hope this is encouraging for you today. I love you guys. God bless you.